It's Monday, July 15th, and welcome to the Damon Bruce Show. It is one of the slowest times of the year. We got a couple of big soccer games. I actually watched soccer yesterday. That's how slow it is out there. But I actually watched a little soccer. We're going to talk about that, and then we're going to talk about a few other things that really the stick to sports crowd might not be the show for you. We're going to do a little bit more than just stick to sports today. And if you choose to be a part of it, I thank you and I welcome you. And you are in a safe space with cool people who won't judge you. If sticking to sports is the only way you go about enjoying a show today, this might not be the show for you today. But it is good to have you here. Thank you so much for watching. And I want to start, by thanking right off the bat my sponsors. You talk about controlling a crowd and the problem that they had controlling the crowd at the Copa America last night. There will be crowd control needed for the grand opening of Ike's on Friday. Boy, I hope to see you there. Ike's Mission Rock down by the ballpark. It's officially opening on Friday. We are going to be down there. The show will be down there a little bit later on in the afternoon after we wrap up the show. And I certainly hope to see you at Ike's. One of the best sandwich shops in the world, baby. So we'll see you there, hopefully, for a grand opening, his 100th store. So proud of my boy. So happy for him. And what a flagship store it's going to be in San Francisco. So we hope to see you on Friday. Eat at Ike's. Get your lunch at Ike's. Think about dinner for Ike's. Friday, grand opening, Mission Rock, baby. And then, of course, we got ourselves a Plus Mania 4 coming up. It's right around the corner on Sunday, the 28th of July. We're going to see you at the Dubliner in West Portal. It's going to be a great time. Thanks to our good friends at the Dubliner for throwing the doors open for us. I hope an awful lot of you are making the plans and making the travel arrangements to come and see us. Again, if you're in the city, all you got to do is hop on Muni and it'll bring you there. Dubliner, West Portal on Sunday, July 28th, around 2 o'clock. We're all going to get together. It'll be a party, 2 o'clock till question mark. Nothing says this is going to be a party like the end time of question mark. So we will see you all there, I certainly hope. I do want to start today's show, though, with what happened at the Copa America and an NFL stadium. This is where the Miami Dolphins play, Hard Rock Stadium. So it's not like this is a cobbled together, hard to, sort of use stadium. This is an NFL stadium. There are levels of security built into every NFL stadium. And man, these levels of security failed because you had fans, unticketed fans in the parking lot, just bum rushing the gates. And there was like an 90 minute delay for a game that, honestly, if you're talking about what's the safest way to do this here tonight, it's really good that nothing bad happened, because the safest way to have done that is probably to have just canceled the game. I mean, that was a crowd that was beyond capacity. That was a situation where if fans decided to bum rush the field, what could any in-house security do to stop it? That was a hairy situation that thankfully didn't become hairier. But man, we got a problem. We got a problem in this country. It's kind of on full display all weekend long. How to talk to each other, how to treat each other. These things are going to be put under a microscope following the events in Pennsylvania that nearly led to an assassination of a presidential candidate. I know that we come here to talk sports and we have a good time, and I want us to have a good time. I want this to be a place where you get away from the real world stuff, but sometimes that real world stuff comes and tackles you from behind and you can't avoid it. I think you all know my position on the man. Not a fan at all. Thank God he is still alive. I mean, an assassination attempt, it's sadly more common in American practice in politics than you would ever think. But it's been decades since something like that had happened. And what a scary, jarring moment, and lives were lost. It's all just so poisonous out there. What do we do about it? What could we do about it? I don't know. I know that we can start trying to solve our issues by just being nicer to each other, by not using the single most wound up from the ankle, trying to land a knockout punch with every single sentence so that sentence will be picked up, distributed, and carried in a world where now only the most extreme positions get any attention at all. You know, dialing down the rhetoric. We'll see what happens this week in Milwaukee. You know, there is a huge opportunity to dial down the rhetoric. I don't know if that's going to happen, though. And for, you know, a certain political party to say, well, it was the way another political party that was talking about our candidate, that dialed up that assassination attempt. Let me just say that in the history of talking ugly through the window of politics, no one has ever talked more ugly than Donald Trump. You know, he has gone out of his way to divide and dismiss anyone who disagrees with him. And that's not what politics was ever supposed to be. Politics is not supposed to be Yankees, Red Sox, Duke, North Carolina. It's not. Politics is not supposed to be about vanquishing the other side to never be heard from again. No, they'll be heard from again in 4 years when there's another election. And people get to decide, do we keep on this path or do we go to another one? Or at least that's the way it used to be. It's a scary world out there. It's a disturbing world out there. It's a disturbing world full of easily identified as disturbed people. That soccer crowd, you know, sports is always a microcosm of society. Look at how quickly that thing broke down. Look at how little help seemed to be provided by law enforcement. Look at how poorly planned, knowing that something bad could happen, that whole scene thing, the whole thing came off. And I think you can trace a straight line to the rally in Pennsylvania. Look at how poorly planned that was. Look at how the people who were in charge of providing security were so wildly unqualified and untrained to do so. There is a video clip out there with like 3 women in the Secret Service all having clear panic attacks. One woman not even being able to holster her gun. You know, I'm not here to bash women in important jobs, but when you're a body man on a president, you should probably be at least as big as the person that you're trying to protect. Because, you know, you can't give 4 feet of clearance on a human shield. This world is full of posers. Posers. Pretending to be experts. Pretending to be qualified. Go anywhere these days. You know, is the bartender serving you your drink as good as the bartender who was here 4 or 5 years ago? No. You know, the underqualified seem to be dominating conversations. And I don't know how, through the prism of social media, this all happened. It is very, very scary. And it feels perilous, the world that we're now officially living in. These are strange times. So, what I like most about the chat that is always here, the group of people that come into this chat to be part of our channel are, for the most part, really nice, really respectful people that you'd want to hang out with. But we even have examples over here. We even have examples over here where, you know, someone has felt bullied or unwelcomed. And it's just like, why? Why go out of your way to make somebody uncomfortable that you might not even know? Why go out of your way to generate nasty, toxic arguments with someone who, you know, if you were in person, you'd probably be really nice to them? There is a retreat to our keyboards that has changed the way that we talk to each other in such a horrific way that I don't know what to do about it. I fear the world that my young boys will be entering. On a much lighter note, Jack got his first whoopee cushion this weekend. I wish all of you could experience the fun of watching a 5-year-old get his first whoopee cushion. How great that is. That's what I want this show to be about today. I want it to be my 5-year-old got a whoopee cushion. But it just feels like there are bigger things happening, scarier things happening out there. We have to stop treating people who disagree with us as the enemy. We have to stop taking every sentence spoke into the record and trying to dissect it for what is wrong with it or what wasn't included in it. And how, even though you meant no offense by this, why I am so offended and why my correct level of offense should now define this conversation more than the way the conversation was trying to be defined, but by just normalcy. The fact that the room for normal seems to be shrinking and the room for abnormal seems to be the size of a stadium these days, there's something wrong with that. There's something wrong with that because I really do believe that the vast majority of everyone is just, I just want to go about my day. I really don't want to bother anybody. I don't really want anybody to bother me. Isn't that what we're all going for? We're just looking to step through what is a built to be difficult life as smoothly as possible without arguing with everyone about everything, of every detail that might have offended everyone about everything at all times. It's crazy. To look at the other side of a conversation and try to describe it as evil. Well, it's not a sustainable conversation, right? It isn't. I'm going to kind of stay out of the chat today for the most part because I know that, look, a lot of people, a lot of people are turned off by this. A lot of people who use this as an opportunity or an invitation to come in here and be awful. And I hope you don't see it that way. T from the 203, thank you very much. Saying, Damon, thanks for today's show. Appreciate it as always. I mean, some people appreciate this and some people have been so programmed to only get the information that they deem acceptable that any information that they might not have even expected offends them. As if anyone would have the right to come here and tell me what I should or should not be saying on my own YouTube channel. If you like it, keep watching. Maybe even like or subscribe. If you don't, click it off. Turn it off. It's easy. But we don't just walk away from things that we don't like anymore. There is now this incentive to fight it and be angry at it. It wasn't like this. This is officially not the world I grew up in. And what is the biggest difference? It is the internet. And what is designed, what was built to bring us together and deliver more information than ever before has actually been used to divide us and insert more incorrect information than ever before, more biased information than ever before. I mean, as someone who communicates for a living, and I understand how ridiculous this sounds from somebody who was, like sports talk radio host, that checks the box of rhetoric. That checks the box of inflammatory statements. That checks the box of, I bet you're going to find a way to get the most toxic, caustic, attention-grabbing point out there because you're looking to grab attention. For me, for a person who is from the world of sports to tell everyone, yet the whole world wasn't supposed to be about sports, you should listen. You should listen. This isn't about making sure Purdue never wins another basketball game. This is, you're supposed to play the team in front of you. You play a fair game to the best of your abilities. If you win it, great. And if you don't, you get another chance a little time down the road. This is not about ending the other side. This is not about installing a level of power that can no longer be checked or balanced. This isn't about granting monarchy-level powers to a country that literally was founded to make sure that that never happened. This is a big week for the soul of the political conversation in our country. And I hope it can get back to a political conversation and not be politically screaming at each other. You know, it's so depressing to see what we have become, because I know what we once were. And I honestly fear if we will ever be able to be that again, because we have mechanisms designed to make us fight. And we pay attention to that every day. Twitter is designed to make you fucking go nuts at the other side. I don't think it was originally designed for that, but the person who recently bought it, 1,000,000,000% wants to use it to implement that. You know, I don't want to get political today. I don't want to endorse one candidate over the other. But to me, this is not about just candidacy. This is about democracy. I'm pro-democracy. I do believe in majority rule. I think that that's the right way to do it. And here's the crazy thing. You know, I was talking about this with Jillian. No matter what happens in this election or any election, I'm about as insulated from it as humanly possible, right? One, I live in San Francisco. San Francisco is going to march to its own drummer. It doesn't matter who wants to play the drum beat. Now, sometimes this march that San Francisco is on goes in the right direction. Often it goes in the wrong direction. But we are our own town. We are our own city. We kind of do our own thing. It's basically like America ends at the South Tower of the Golden Gate Bridge and at, Daly City. And San Francisco is its own little nation state. And I love it. That's why I live here. That's why I live here. I also was walking by a mirror the other day and couldn't help but notice I'm a white guy. So even if Donald Trump were to become the next president of the United States and every decision just benefits the well-to-do white guy, well, that's kind of who I am. So am I going to be really affected by it negatively? Probably not. I don't have daughters. By the way, that guy, and this is not rhetoric. This is so. Look, I mean, what's crazy about all this is there is a level of victimhood that is real. The man, there was an assassination attempt. He remains the largest threat to American democracy as we know it. And he remains a sinister figure who should be dealt with at the ballot box, not in any other way. If you've been following my career, and I know many of you have been following my career for a very, very long time, I still have it brought up to me how, powerful some of the transcripts that I would read on the air against the station's wishes about the Jerry Sandusky transcripts during the Joe Paterno sexual Penn State kids getting molested thing. And I read all that and it landed heavily to people. Here we are, children under oath, talking about being sexually abused at a horrific, almost factory level rate of efficiency. And everyone took that testimony on its face value. Go right now and look at the unsealed testimony in the Jeffrey Epstein files. Donald Trump raped children. I mean, there's nothing else to say. It's there. You can read it. I've read it. You can read it. You have little girls with nothing to gain say, that man raped me. That's not even in the news right now. Can't be. It isn't for whatever reason. And the reason why it's not in the news is because the people who are in charge of delivering the news are the biggest group of buffoons out there. And that goes for both parties. Okay? That goes for both parties. That goes for any agenda-driven, wherever you get, whether you're a Fox guy or a CNN gal, doesn't matter. The boobs working at both stations, both channels, both networks are wildly inefficient when it comes to doing the proper job. The job is to determine what is the biggest story and get it out there, not what's going to get us the most attention. Donald Trump absolutely raped little girls with Jeffrey Epstein. You can read it. It's there. It's black and white. The same thing with Project 2025. You can read it there. The whole thing is a manifesto on how to take our democracy that we lived in apart. Now, if that appeals to you, vote for the guy. If it doesn't appeal for you, vote for the other guy. I'm not here to tell you what to do, but there is information out there that is so horrific that any reasonable, well-educated person would read it and just say, that can't be. Now we'll see what happens. Yeah. Donald Trump's going to walk into that convention like he's fucking Tupac. Look at the lazy journalism that says, oh, black voters should now relate to Donald Trump more because he's been shot. Who in God's name is in position to even write that article? How can any editor say, yeah, go with that article? That article isn't painfully insulting in every way, shape, or form. Black voters will relate to Donald Trump more now that he's been shot? Shame on you. That is the equivalent of saying black voters will relate to Donald Trump more because he says he likes fried chicken. It's just as offensive. It's just as offensive. Who writes these things? Who reads these things? Who's in charge of making sure that there used to be gatekeepers and editors, and you couldn't just have every nonsensical thing in your mind be put out into the world for everyone to consume. There is no longer a gatekeeper. There is no longer a gatekeeper of you are qualified to be in the discussion. You know, unqualified discussions were the drunk guys at the end of the bar, and their voices didn't carry more than 2-3 seats away from where they were. And if they got real obnoxious, the bartender would tell them to pipe down. Now you can have bad faith actors, Russian bots, just injecting themselves into every single conversation, not looking to reach a proper conclusion, but just, there's an eternal shit stirring of the pot that is so disturbing out there that the conversation has become nothing other than, well, what you've said has offended me, and I remember this one thing you said, so what you're saying now to try to cool things down, because you said this one other thing, we can never cool down. I mean, it's just, if everything is a but actually, we can never really talk. It's scary as fuck out there. It's scary as fuck. The amount of people who willingly sign up for the worst things in the world to be delivered directly to them because they get off on it. It's just, it really, really bothers me. And what can I do about it? I officially can do nothing about it. I'm one man. I can cast one vote in a direction that now casting that vote in direction, will it matter? Sure. Or maybe not. I don't know. But it's just the whole thing is so painfully designed to be depressing. And that's part of the design. That how do you rise above it? How do you rise above it? How do you break the cycle of fuck you, no 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 fuck you? Because that's the entire conversation now. That's all it is. It's just a battle of fuck yous. That's not diplomacy. It's not a conversation. That's how assholes behave. So here's my humble request. Every single Republican asshole, pipe down. Every single Democrat asshole, pipe down. If I had a wish, if I had one thing, like Damon, you can snap your fingers and one thing would happen right now, I would snap my fingers and uninvent the internet. I would uninvent it right now. Because it's tearing us apart. We do not know, we can't talk to each other anymore. Because it's a fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck, no, fuck you, no, fuck you. That's all it is. That's all the whole thing is. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. So that's it. That's all I have to say today. You know, I don't think that was a sports show. I don't think that was a political show. I think that was a call for cooler heads to prevail in a country that feels designed to make sure that that can never happen again by bad actors who want to ruin our ability to talk to each other. We have to be able to talk to each other. We have to be able to talk to each other respectfully. This whole world can't be about dunking on everyone with every comma, sentence, and period. So stop blaming someone else for the way you are. You're an adult. You have the ability to control your own emotions. You have the ability to be less of a dick. Maybe that's where we start. Let's everyone pretend they're at a fish show. There's only one rule at a fish show. Don't be a dick. Let's stop being dicks. Let's stop being total dicks to each other. David says, this is why I turn into your show, Damon. Missed this when you were off the air. Well, I thank you. I thank you very much for watching this. And here's what I promise you. We'll actually get back to sports on Tuesday. Like, we'll have an all-star game to talk about. We'll have a home run derby that is designed to be less interesting now than ever before to maybe talk about too. Rookies report. Hopefully no one's storming any soccer games again anytime soon. And seriously, get your security up. How are we supposed to host a World Cup with people acting like this, getting into soccer games? That can't happen at a Super Bowl. I tell you, there's levels of protection there that are so designed to make sure that that never happens, that it would never happen. But at the same time, we just saw in real time how, basically the Secret Service has become amateur hour. How's the person guarding Seagate supposed to be state of art if Secret Service is amateur hour? This whole world, man. This whole world needs to calm down. First man up to calm down? Well, we got a Republican convention this week in Milwaukee. Let's see how they do. I fear the worst. I'd love to expect the best. We can all do better. I'm going to try to do better. I hope you all try to do better too. That's it. That's today's show. Sports don't build character. They reveal it. And like that, he's gone.